sorry guys. I thought the broadcast was live. We are not live. We are here with SPM Motorsports live on lap 1. I apologize big time for that. We missed all of qualifying in the grid. The grid position was James Newell with Joseph Hook in Florida Man in 3rd, Shane Stern in 4th, Jonathan Mitchell in 5th, Bula in 6th, Deadpool in 7th, Chuck was actually in 10th. Second, and Florida Man has gotten around Joseph Hook, as you can see here now. We are at circuit in SPM with GT3s. We have a 45-minute race, evening time, last pace, as we got some swapping back here in positions between Jonathan Mitchell and Bula's going to try to make his way around Jonathan Mitchell, rocking with SPM, going at Ferrari gets around that McLaren, Jonathan Mitchell. Trying to get his way around in that Audi around Bula and Jonathan Mitchell. He's going to try to make it stick, and before we go into a fast kick to the right, we have a nice sharp left, and Shane Stern gets around Jonathan Mitchell and sets his eyes on Bula. Shane Stern, one of the faster guys usually out here at SPM. We got Florida Man in first place in front of James Newell. James Newell, Joseph Hook in Florida all had fairly times in qualifying. Joseph Hook and James Newell are only separated by 2 or 3 tenths of a second. Florida Man not far off of that, but now currently is in first. As we make our way through the last couple of turns here, we're going into 2 chicanes. Let's see if we can carry the most speed out of these chicanes and make it work for them. Florida with that guy wrestling a gator on the side of his McLaren. It looks like the McLaren's a strong car here for Leman. As the top 3 guys are all rocking the same McLaren. So we got a little track here. We got Michael Tenegretta out. Let's see what happened to Michael Tenegretta. Dunzo. As we hop back up here, live race with the leaders again. Let's hop back in the backpack over here. We got Gregorian right here in that Mustang, making his way around the Mustang. know Chuck did not plan on starting so far back after winning the last race at Hungary. If he can pull off a good, he might jump into the lead. As Bula tries to make a move on Shane Stern. Whew. Got that tight racing there between Shane and Bula. Chuck now in front of Shaman. Shaman rocking the KFC. KFC vet. The only one out here with a Corvette. As we hop back up here with our leaders, keeping it very tight. Florida Man holding the lead, followed by James Newell and Joseph Hook. These three have created a bit of a gap with Shane Stern. I know if Shane Stern can catch up, he'll be giving these guys a little bit of a run for his money, and it looks like Shane Stern is trying to close that gap, and if he does, these guys might be in for it, because this kid is not afraid to put pressure on when it needs to. It looks like Shane Stern caught a slowdown there. But is back on it, and Chuck is on Shane's tail. Chuck starting in 10th, now in 5th position, made his way up 5 positions. Chuck also rocking that black Porsche with the racing logo on the back. I gotta say, the GT3 Porsche is one of my favorite things to drive, other than an MX-5. We have a crash back here with Jonathan Mitchell. Let's see what happened with Jonathan Mitchell. Ooh. He couldn't control it after seeing that guy being so slow in front of him. And it just killed his momentum and he lost it, putting him in the wall. As we hop back up here with Chuck, make a move on Shane Stern, or if they can work together and catch up to the front three. Let's hop on board here with car. You can see his perspective. As you can see, it is fairly dark out. The sky seems like a nice calm night. As we head into the last sector of this track. Being smart and not trying to push it too hard, kind of letting these boys lead and follow. Joseph Hook, fairly new to the GT3 tires, he's showing that he is a well-rounded racer all around. Learning from the faster guys and making his name known in this league. His nickname from these guys given to him today is Corporate Rain. So Joanne can just hold on to these last minute run and get around these guys. Just needs to hold on. He needs to hold on. So we hop back here with Gregorio. He makes his way around Cam Barnes. Cam Barnes has gone off. KFC Corvette. I wonder if he's thinking about some chicken. And then it looks like Chuck has lost Shane a bit. Had a bobble at one point. It does look like he's had a crash back here. Let's kind of go back and see what happened with him. Bula just, I think he parked it and was done. Something must have not been sitting right with his car. It does look like he has some damage to the front end, so that damage probably did him in, and he wasn't too happy. As we hop back up here with Joseph Hook getting around James Newell. Looks like James Newell might have had a slowdown. Hopefully that slowdown doesn't hurt him too much and he's able to hold on. And it does look like Shane Stern is right on James, so it looks like we might have a four-way battle for this lead. And it all can come down to a good pit stop, because we do have to have at least one pit stop here in the race. This race is 45 minutes. And I will say Florida is probably a little bit more well-versed. It's not very common for the other drivers that are in this top four battle, as they usually come from a racing background of shorter stints with no pit stops. So if Florida man pulls it off right, he could create a little bit of a gap and be on his own. Joseph Hook does not let him get away, and I know James Newell will do his best to make up the ground after having his slowdown. I know he doesn't want Shane to catch him. So Chuck is trying to make up some ground on Shane as well. That was originally in 4th position, all the way back in 10th, all by his lonesome. He must have had something happen to him at the very beginning of the race that caused him to fall so far back. He just got passed. Does look like James Newell has closed that gap just enough to keep him in striking distance of Joseph and Florida man. As it looks like Joseph Hook gets around Florida man, and I'm wondering if Florida man had a slowdown there. Now we have a 1 second gap from Florida man to Joseph Hook. Florida will work together to catch Joe on the straight here. And it does look like James is giving Florida the push. Usually you don't see too much bump drafting like that in GT3s. Gets a little loose there. Does come from an MX-5 background where pushing can be very necessary when it comes to races like this. Entered the pits. I wonder if he's just pitting for gas or if he's... Back out on track. He must have not put the right tune in, so he can get his position back when everybody else decides it's time to pit. It is still fairly early in this race, guys, so we will be seeing everybody pit eventually, and that's when we'll see a lot of swapping positions. Again, with a good pit stop, it can cost you big time. As we saw last week, Charles hopped over Florida man in Hungaroring because he timed his pit stop perfect. Second gap still up front in front of Florida man. The newbie showing him how it's done. It looks like this kid is determined to be the best he can in every car. Joseph Hook also coming from a very high competitive end of the MX-5 crew. Also races in a league called Proving Grounds, where they try to find the best MX-5 drivers possible, put them to the test, and run as if they were running in the Whelen MX-5 Cup Series. Joseph Hook is one of the top contenders in that league, and it looks like he might be one of the top contenders here in SPM, in a car in class that he is not as familiar with. As he seems to be just running away and creating a gap. He has a good second and 3/10 on Florida man behind him. And we'll see if him and James will help each other. Looks like we did have Shingo off track back here. Oh, Shane's got loose and almost flips. And now he's going to have to work very hard to make up ground, as he was passed by Shaman, Cam, and Whiskey. Chuck now currently in 4th position. Leader, Joseph Hook. Followed by James Newell, now in front of Florida man. these McLarens are swapping positions. Like I said before, the McLaren seems to be the car here at Le Mans. James Newell, also a very dominant MX-5 driver, races in real life and is looking to make a career behind the wheel, building his portfolio, training people, started in karting at a very young age, supported by loved ones. He has climbed the ranks in the MX-5 community and is looking to make his name known. Very nice guy and has a ton of potential and is still super young when it comes to the racing scene and has a very long way to go and a very bright future. And then you got Florida with McLaren rocking the Gator, guy wrestling Gator on the side. I do know somebody that does wrestle Gators here in Jacksonville, Florida. Kind of wish he had a picture of that guy on there. It would be kind of funny. But Florida man, obviously a Florida native himself, as he probably slow down for that. Well, as they go into the pit, we are pitting. We are going to see what it's like at a first pit stop between these guys. So we got Joseph Hook. Let's see who's going to come out in front with these three. As we are 23 minutes in and we still got 45 minutes to go. We are about the halfway mark here. And Chuck is not far behind them. So if Chuck can get into his box quickly and get that vehicle fueled up and ready to go, he might be able to catch right back up to these guys. Let's see who's going to pull out of the pit first. It is a race with their their pit crew, getting this car ready and fueled to go, and it looks like Joseph Hook is going to be the first one to pull out. James Newell not too far behind him, and Florida man. So there is no swap in position as of right now. And then Charles Wolf is also pulling out of pit as we speak. Charles Wolf currently currently 8 seconds behind Florida man. So that pit did not help him, and Charles has been struggling with pace all evening. Does he find pace in the second half of this race and catch the leaders? I guess we will find out. And Shane Stern has officially caught back up and is now 3 seconds behind Charles, but Shane still also has to pit. He has not pitted yet. So that will drop him back as we hop back up here with our leader, Joseph Hook. Joseph Hook has kind of made his spot and where he is going to be the rest of this evening. Unless James Newell can close that gap, we might have a win by Joseph Hook. Joseph Hook is now 1.5 seconds currently ahead of James Newell. And it looks like Florida Man has dropped back quite a bit. Have been enjoying racing Circuit day Lemans. If you guys want me to say it the correct way, probably not gonna happen because I cannot say Circuit day Lemans or however you say it. I am French. I'm just a wee with Motorsports Circuit de Leman, and we're running a 45-minute race. In our last race of this season, this league will be August 12th at Road Atlanta. So take that because there we will see a bit more racing. Here we are kind of just driving with these long straights. It does look like James Newell is closing that gap on Joseph Hook, so maybe we'll see a little bit of battling going on between the two McLarens. These top three were all within striking distance of each other at one point, and now it looks like there has been some gaps created. And it all started with Mr. Hook and his plaid McLaren. Let's hop back here with our friend Leman and his beautiful KFC Corvette. Don't know much about Shaman, but I do know that I did get an earful about pronouncing his name wrong. Last time I was pronouncing his name Sham, when it's obviously pronounced Shaman. So my apologies, Shaman. I hope I do you justice tonight while you drive that beautiful KFC Corvette to the finish line in 6th place right now. I know you have your eyes set on Shane Stern, as Shane Stern still has not taken his pit. He still has to pit. Once he pits, Shaman might hop in front of Shane Stern. It's we did have a crash back here. Let's hop back. My God, Peanut Butter. His name is Peanut Butter. As Peanut Butter was coming through the last few chicanes, it looks like he hopped that curb a little too much and broke free. At least he spun it around and straightened that thing out and got back to racing. Peanut Butter back there in 12th place. And then we have Michael Tannegretta. Let me hop back up here in the live view. Michael Tannegretta also in a Porsche. Currently in 11th position. In front of him, we have Gregorio, and it looks like Shane jumped to the pits. Shane went off track again. Let's Shane. Shane is just pushing that car a little too hard. And it looks like Shane is had about enough, and he jumps to the pits. As we hop back up here and check on our leader, now that has created a 2.5 second gap over James Newell. Joseph Hook, the newcomer, making it known. He is the man here at Lemans. If he could do this next week at Road Atlanta, he will prove that he is one of the fastest guys in this league. But if you know Road Atlanta is a very tricky track, so we could see some different types of winners going on there. We usually have Chuck that's currently back in 4th. Up there in the front too. Along with Florida Man, who is currently now 6 seconds or 10 seconds behind. Florida Man currently on his own island, 7 seconds behind Lemans, 10 seconds behind Joseph. Behind him we have Chuck, who's 6 seconds off of his pace. As we hop back in here, let's check on Deadpool. Deadpool in the Merc. Kind of just doing his thing, driving all by his lonesome back there. I don't know about you guys, but I could probably take a nap on one of those straights. As we come down into our second chicane in the long straight, he comes whipping through. In front of him we have Cam Barnes. And right behind him, or no, right in front of him is Whiskey. I was looking at the wrong cars, guys. Whiskey in the Acura. The only Acura on the track. The only front engine car here. Or other, actually we have a few front engine cars, but the shorter, more controlled front engine car. Mustang's kind of like a big boat. It is very heavy up there in that front end. Let's see if he can carry more pace through this windy section here. As we had Shane come back on track, and now he's going back off track again. And it looks like Shane is retiring that car. He is done. And again, we have Peanut Butter that crashed, or he ran out of gas. One of the two. And it looks like he ran out of fuel. Forgot that there was a mandatory pit stop. Thought he might have had more time, but he did not. So we hop back up in here. Let's check on Shaman. Shaman's doing his 23 seconds behind Chuck. And Chuck is still about 6 seconds back from Florida, but he is slowly closing that gap. The gap has not gotten any bigger. And it does look like James Newell has closed the gap a little bit on Joseph Hook. Joseph Hook's not careful in these last 10 minutes. James Newell could make a move on him. Will James Newell be able to do it? We will see. Can James make up some time in this windy sector of the track? He is making up some time. Joseph Hook is fairly quick. James Newell was down to 1.5 seconds behind Joseph Hook, and if he can nail these last few chicanes, he would be in draft. And it does look like James punched the draft on Joseph Hook. If he can make it through these next couple turns in good position, when we get on that backstretch, we could be seeing a battle on our hands, as he has now closed the gap down to 0.8 seconds, 0.8 of a second behind Joseph Hook. James Newell making a late charge here in this race. If he could hold on to that car, he's closing that gap, guys. He is now in draft. As that gap starts to dwindle ever so slightly, we are down to 7. When it comes to the braking zone, who's going to be better going into this first chicane? James Newell falling right back into the same time he was prior to going into that first chicane. We got a battle here, guys. get into this next sector here. James Newell trying to make James Newell do it. And that gap is closing. Let's go, Newell. Oh, he's nailing these turns. He is now down to 0.5 of a second on Joseph Hook. Who will run away with it? Joseph Hook is pulling away again. Small gap, 0.7 of a second again. As we come down to the final two chicanes. James Newell closing the gap again. As we got one more lap to go. 0.3 of a second behind Joseph Hook. This battle for first, I'm sorry guys, I gotta keep focused on it because James is now looking to make his move on Joseph Hook as they come down into the first chicane after the first long straight. They both nail it perfectly. I don't know. James Newell, 0.2 of a second back. Coming into the next chicane. Joseph Hook is quicker in the chicanes, but James is still making up ground. He has certainly closed that gap. And he's looking to make a move. He's going to the outside. Joseph shuts the door on him. Causes James to fall back just a little bit. Can James make a move on him? Again Joseph Hook shutting the door on James as they come down to a late dive by James Newell on the inside of Joseph Hook. Joseph Hook still leading as they come down into the next part. Joseph Hook with the inside. James Newell trying to do the over-under. James Newell on the bumper of Joseph Hook. These two McLarens are going at it. Who is going to win as we are coming down to the final sector of this race between these two? As James goes on the inside of Joseph, going through this fast swing part. James Newell making the move on the outside. Joseph Hook tapping the wall. James Newell, now your leader. James Newell coming down into the final couple of turns. And it looks like James Newell is going to pull off a comeback after being down almost 5 seconds. As they come through the final 2 chicanes, James Newell is going to come across the line with the victory, sliding across the finish line, showing him why he has a bright future in this car, in the racing scene, as Florida Man makes his way across the line in 3rd place, followed by Chuck. It looks like, did he run out of gas or was he just messing around? It looks like he was just messing around. And then we got Whiskey back here. His JG Wentworth car. Call JG Wentworth. 877 cash now. If you don't know the commercial, you must be looking it up. Whiskey coming down to the final 2 chicanes in that green and white JG Wentworth Acura, followed by Cam Barnes in his blue and red Ford Performance GT3. And then Deadpool making his way across the finish line in his Merc. About a minute back, we have Greta. Back here in his Porsche. Running his own race. As we get ready to pull in some drivers for a chit chat. Greta came across the line, and we have Gregorio racing with Shane Stern just for fun. Him and Shane, teammates at Mav Motorsport. Trying to make the best of the situation. They come down to the final 2 chicanes, trying to put a little show on for everybody as Shane comes whipping through those final 2 chicanes, killing the curve, and Gregorio falling in right behind him. Alrighty guys, let's get over here to the results of this race. If I can pull her up. And the race results are up. We have James Newell in first, Joseph Hook in second position, Florida Man in third, Chuck in fourth, Whiskey in fifth, and Deadpool in seventh, Michael Tanner Greta in eighth, Gregorio Moreno Jr. in ninth, 10th is Shane Stearns, Shaman in 11th, Peanut Butter in 12th, 13th is Bula, 14th is Mitchell, and 15th is General, as we pull in our next person to speak to. Joseph Hook is currently in second. Let's hop in here with Joseph Hook. Joseph, how are you tonight? Good. Quite a race there. You were holding that lead for quite a while until James Newell got around you at the end. It looked like he fell back about 5 seconds and then closed that gap, and it looked like you tried to shut the door on him and it didn't quite work. But all in all, you had a fantastic race for your second race here at here at yeah. But hey, for your second race, that was fantastic, especially with these guys. Usually we have some different leaders, so to see you up there, it shows that you have the potential to be quite fast. So I'm excited to see you progress, and I'm wondering how you feel about Road Atlanta. What are you looking forward to? Are you looking to have a better performance, maybe get a win there, or how do you feel about the track in general? Right. Under Understandable. Right. Right. Well, I'm glad to see that you did a fantastic job, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in your next race. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to tonight? Right. Alrighty, man. Well, you have a good evening. It was a great talking to you, and I'll be talking to you soon. You too. Alrighty, guys. That has been your production here with Slowpoke Motorsport. I had a little bit of technical difficulties getting the replays up. And we had a fantastic race here at Lemans. Again, James Newell with a bang out performance, making a climb from 5 seconds back to winning the race. What a race there, and what a drive there by James Newell. Glad to see that win from him and how great he did. Alrighty. But I hope you guys have a fantastic evening and good night.